York City 2 years ago. It was maybe about this time in the fall. It was a critical mass where like 300 or 400 bicycles all met at Union Square, and I heard this little voice with a loudspeaker being like, "Okay, y'all, here's the bike cheer. Everyone's gonna learn this like radical cheer about biking." And I was like, "What's this girl talking about?" And then soon enough, like she starts like screaming into the microphone, and then everyone in the crowd started singing the bike cheer. How did that one go? It was,
I ride a bike.
I ride a bike.
Like.
That's what I like.
Beth came down, like after we met in New York City, I came back here to Austin, and Juan moved back with us, and we all sat down and we like dreamed a dream of what this would look like if we all came together and like focused some energy on like these bikes and what we wanted to do with them.
I think some of the original goals was to try to find a way to combine kind of doing outreach in terms of like puppetry and performance and fun with kind of the social element of finding out what's going on the border.
I would say 85 to 90% don't have any other form of transportation except the buses or the bikes in this case. They don't have benefits, they don't have unions, there is no way of demanding your rights, so these workers are in worse conditions than others.
Having bicycles as an option for transportation helps folks out that have to take a company bus, and like our kind of comic book describes, people often have to leave an hour early to take this company bus that is kind of a long ride through town. So with a bicycle, then they can just kind of be in control of when they go to work and when they come, depending on when their shifts are.
So if they take their bicycle, it's easier for them to just get on the bicycle and drive back at whatever time they are finished.
When I had talked to people in Mexico, they were like, you know, we've done a survey and it's like 15% of the money that people make, which is $40 a week. You know, it's what people here in one day make, and I'm sure they make more in Austin. And they were like 15% of all their income was going to transportation. And so what had happened is a couple of years back, I had gone to the border on a delegation, it's called, with Tan Cerca de la Frontera, which is an Austin solidarity group where they do support for the women who are working in these maquila plants. And I had gone down and they had a big wish list of all the things that they needed that could help them just better organize. And one of the things was bicycles. It's political. Bicycles, you know, you're not using gas, but also you're autonomous. You can get where you need to go and you don't have to put money into the machine of whatever that is, you know. And so I think we accomplished that, like, and bringing these bikes there, and that they were things that people there wanted and needed, and it wasn't just like us imposing our agenda on people.
So our first trip, we had probably over 15 people or maybe 18 people involved. Half the group decided to ride their bicycles to the border, and they brought, you know, everything from face paint to juggling balls to these crazy tall bikes that were really wild, and they called themselves the Cyclown Circus. So we met them down at the border because we took a huge trailer that had over 80 bicycles. And there had been work days for a month in preparation of this first border trip to get Austin volunteers to come over, you know, patch tubes, fix up wheels, and that kind of got a lot of local energy involved.
We get down to the border and we got there really late. It was kind of late at night, and we called Julia on the Mexico side, and she was waiting for us. She had come across to the U.S. side. We get there and she's like, it's too late to cross tonight. We should cross tomorrow. So we camped out there overnight, and we wound up fixing all the bikes up like the next morning, and that's where we kept them. Julia meets with us and she's like, okay, so what are we going to do here? How are we going to get these bikes across? Because I'm sure they're going to charge us taxes. And do y'all have enough money for these taxes? And we're like, well, we don't know. We don't know how much it's going to be, right? So we get up there with our whole big, huge, after we've taken all the bikes off and like fixed them up, put them back on the trailer, we get to the border. When we pull up at the border, we go and find out. Julia goes and talks to them. They said they wanted like $500. She goes back another time, they want $700. They're just totally wavering on the price that they want to get all these like donated bikes that are just, we're gonna be crap, we're gonna be thrown in the trash. Like they wanted $500 to get these bikes in. And so we're all like strategizing on like, what are we gonna do, how are we gonna get these bikes across? And Julia was like, well, you know, there was this big project that happened in the city, Piedras Negras. And she said there, school children, like they wanted to get all these desks across the border to the school children in Piedras Negras. And so what they wound up doing is walking each one of their desks across the border. So it was this like intercambio, this exchange that happened. And she was like, we can do that with the bikes. And so what we did is we wound up like taking each one of those bikes off and riding each one of the bikes across the border all day long. That was our way of like, you know, confronting NAFTA, you know. It was like, you know, NAFTA free trade for who? That's the real question, you know.
What keeps us going is just when we get to the border and see kind of how exciting it is to bring the bikes across, and people that really need these bicycles, when they get to take them and use them and fix them up, that makes it all worth it, of all the hard work we put in.
One of the conditions that we always tell our delegates when they join these delegations is to go with open hands, meaning don't expect anything, just go with open hands to receive and to offer what you have to give. And that's what Bikes Across Borders is, I think. They have this possibility of assembling the bikes here, putting them together, and then getting them over the border. And this is part of the opening of hands that people can offer to our brothers and sisters.